Quiin Walters is a staple of Tyler Perry Studios, having played Gia in The Have and the Have-Nots, and now she can be seen as Renee in Madea's Family Funeral, the last film in the Madea franchise. I caught up with Quiin in LA right as the movie was hitting theaters this weekend. Take a listen. I am speaking with Miss Quiin Walters, a staple of the Tyler Perry production family. And side note, me and Miss Quiin met briefly when I was shooting The Have and the Have-Nots. So
You did.
Isn't that crazy? That's crazy. And it took me a minute to figure it out, but I figured it out nonetheless. But let's talk about your latest venture, Madea's Family Funeral, which is the last film in this franchise.
Yes, I know, the last one, and I'm really shocked that he's doing this to us. I'm like, come on, Tyler, you know you got a couple more in you. But yeah, this is the last one. He said he's tired of doing it. He don't want to be the same age as Madea while he's doing Madea. So he's like, I got to put her to bed. But we had a blast doing it. It was so much fun. We all became good friends on the set. We all on a group chat. We hang out. We didn't know at the time that this was the last one, but I don't know if that, it's just like subconsciously, we just all kind of gravitated and made that bond strong. And now that it's the last, we're really like, oh, we love each other.
Aw, that's wonderful. He has an uncanny knack for creating that type of environment on his sets. And he works really fast. Can you just speak really quickly? Because let me just say, side note and FYI, I did not know when I showed up on that set that he only does literally like one take.
Girl, listen.
And so, I mean, that was daunting for me doing television. I can't even imagine how daunting that is doing a film. And girl, I ran into Mr. Perry about a year ago at the night before the Oscars party. So I was like, thank you so much for that opportunity. I really appreciate it. And he said to me, I hope you were pleased. I was like, really? You really care about how I feel about my performance?
He's that type of man. The speed in which he works, I've never worked that fast, but I always tell people when they ask me about working with him, I felt like I got my PhD in film and television, because when you go to set, usually you can bring a book, you can bring a puzzle, because you're probably going to be in your trailer. It's this big hurry up and wait atmosphere usually on most sets, and you sit around for most of the day and then you shoot for a little bit. Well, he's the opposite. You're constantly shooting. You barely get any downtime, and he has his schedule panned out so smooth, forces you to be ready to have all your choices made before you get to set and ready to perform. It's go time. It's not, you don't get an opportunity to play around and to be unprepared. It's like you should have done your homework, and now it's time to go to work. This is what I'm paying you to do.
Yeah, you're right.
That, you know what I mean? It's like
I do know what you mean. You're right. It's like, you do show up on a set, and usually you have hours upon hours to, find something to do with your time before they call you to the set. And they usually give you enough ample time where you can get it together before you step in front of the camera. But not at TPP, baby. That is not how they roll.
Not at TPS. It was a trip, because I remember one time, the first day I showed up, so I get to set, I go into hair and makeup. The PA said, it's time for you to go. I said, oh no, actually my scene is third from the top, so no, I know they're getting started with the first scene. She was like, I know, yeah, they're on the first scene and you're 3. And I was like, so I probably won't be up to an hour or 2, right? She was like, no, you need to go to set right now. You're going to be coming up in a few minutes. I'm like, what? That was my first lesson. It got to a point where, I wanted to have my own time to myself before I just was rushed off onto set. So I would sort of get the transpo people in trouble, because transportation would come to the hotel and say, we're ready to pick up Quiin, can't find Quiin. And they'd call in the system and say, oh, Quiin's already on set. So I was getting set an hour early so I could eat breakfast and listen to Sade, get in my zone before I had to, rush off to set. So, but it was good because it allowed me to know how I needed to work and what I needed to do to get acclimated to the system that Tyler has in place at his studio, and that's fine.
Now, you play Renee in Madea's Family Funeral. What can you tell our listeners and the people watching on YouTube about Renee, honey? Do her and Madea get into it? Because Madea comes for everybody. No one is exempt being read by Madea.
Listen, You were absolutely right about that. The Renee character that I play, you'll learn she's a troubled woman, unfortunately. I gotta say, I don't want to give away too much to people who haven't seen it just yet, but she's a friend of the family. As they're preparing for this big funeral, all of these secrets and skeletons come out of the closet. Renee is intertwined in all of that mess.
Now, you had segued to the have and the have-nots, and you played Gia. Gia was doing a lot.
Gia was doing the most.
So talk to me about how you first came into the role of Gia, how all of that started, because that's how you were introduced to the Tyler Perry family.
Actually, it was the reverse. I think that because the haves and have-nots came out first, and then the movie just came out yesterday, but I shot the film first. It was the second day of shooting the movie, and Tyler pulled me to the side, and he said, "Are you on a show right now? Are you on the TV show right now?" And I said, "No." And he said, "Why not?" And I said, "I don't know. I want to be on a show. Do you know somebody that can get me on a show?" And he said, "You know what? I think I may have something for you. Hang tight." So I'm like, is this Hollywood talk or is this real? Like, it's got to be real because it's Tyler Perry. Like, he wouldn't play around, right?
Right.
So he called me, and I couldn't believe he called my cell phone. He called me, and he's like, "This is Tyler, and I just wanted to let you know that I talked to Oprah about you." What? Oprah knows what I look like? Oprah knows my name?
Yes, girl. It's her network. Of course she knows.
You know what? You know that, but then you don't actually conceptualize that. And so when you hear it said out loud, like, yeah, wow, she knows exactly who I am at this point because they work together. Duh. He said, we may have something for you, but just sit tight. I don't know. So then we finished shooting the movie, and it was great. Then I get to LA 2 weeks into me being back. He said, "I want you for the haves and have-nots. Come on to Atlanta, come shoot 4 episodes." And I was so ecstatic. I'm like, yes. But 4 episodes turned into 8 episodes. 8 turned into 12. 12 turned into 16. 16 turned into 20. Shot 20 episodes as Gia. I was so happy about that. I love the character art. Started off as this prostitute. Come to find out she's really an informant for the FBI. And she was trying to work off some time by doing this dirty work as an informant to try to lessen her jail time. She was in prison before. It got to be like a cool character to play, something that I was just so ecstatic about doing, something that's way away from who I really am.
Wow. Miss Quiin, that very rarely happens. People, and this is another thing I want to address while we have 2 people that have worked for Mr. Perry on the line. For people who have never worked for him, they are always popping off the mouth saying stuff that's not so lovely. And when I came back from Atlanta and I said that I had been on the have and the have-nots, people said, "So how was it?" Because I said, let me tell you something. Anybody that says anything negative about Tyler Perry or Tyler Perry Productions has not worked for him, period. And that's all I'm going to say.
Yeah, I guess you would have to be in his presence to really understand the magnitude of the generosity that this man possesses and the graciousness. His heart is bigger than he is.
And he's huge. I don't know if you had this moment when you first met him, but this is the moment that I had when I first met him. And it was so incredibly embarrassing. So when I walked onto set, for whatever reason, I didn't think he was going to be there because I figured Having to Have-Nots has been on the air for a minute. Maybe he's off doing something else and somebody else is directing this episode. I wasn't quite sure, and I really didn't give it too much gravity until I walked on the set and he came walking toward me. Now, from a distance, he didn't seem like he was that tall. I'm 5'2", so the closer he got, right, exactly. So the closer he got to me, the taller he got. It was like the Jolly Black Giant. I'm like, what is going on? And I looked up and he was like, "So who are you?" And I said it just like this. I'm like, "I'm Carla." He said, "Well, hi, Carla." And he walked away. And I was like, oh my God.
He did the accent too.
He did. It was hilarious. Hilarious. And I'm like,
but he's that guy. He's that gracious. When I first met him on set, it was the first day of shooting, just got out of the van. I think I was the last person out of the makeup chair arriving to set, and then he walked. There was a sea of people because they hadn't started the first shot, so everybody's just everywhere. And through the sea of people, he spotted me. He walked right towards me.
Same situation.
"How you doing?" He's like, "That's the newbie." He's like, "How you doing?" I'm like, "Hi, nice to meet you. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for this opportunity." He's like, "Great. I'm so excited to have you. We're gonna have fun. We're gonna have a ball." I'm like, "Yes, we are." And he's like, "All right, let's go." And then he held a prayer, and that for me, sealed the deal. I've never had a director hold a prayer before shooting. People just don't do that. They just get to work and they just get to work. But when he did that, it touched my heart because I'm a spiritual person. I pray. So that immediately connected me to him on a higher level beyond just, oh, that's my boss, or I'm just at work. It was like, this is an environment. This is a peaceful environment. This is a respectful environment.
Absolutely.
And it set the tone for the day, and everyone was kind and everyone was nice. Who knows if everybody's a Christian on set? It didn't matter. He was able to just bring this sort of calmness and this peacefulness and respectfulness to his set, and that maintained throughout the day, throughout the whole shoot. And so that is like a level of good power that he has, that he presents and exudes. And I think that's just unmatched, untouched.
Absolutely, absolutely. I agree with you wholeheartedly on all of that. What do you have coming up next?
I am currently directing and producing a social conscious documentary. I'm going to be able to talk more about it later. So hopefully me and you can do this again so I can give you guys more details. It's something that I'm really proud of, and it's a passion project, and I'm praying that it touches a lot of people and hopefully changes some lives, changes some perspectives, and just encourages the next generation. So but we'll get into that a little later.
Well, I am looking forward to it, Miss Quiin, and I thank you so much wholeheartedly for taking time out of your weekend to speak with us over here at the Curvy Critic, girl. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me, Carla, and please, let's do this again. I love talking to you.
Absolutely. Madea's Family Funeral, the last film in the Madea franchise, directed, produced, starring, and directed by Tyler Perry, is in theaters, produced by Lionsgate Pictures right now. This is your girl, Carla Renata, aka the Curvy Film Critic. Until the next time, love, peace, and hair grease, y'all.